Secretary Comanescu, the organization of the Black Sea Economic Cooperation is a unique entity bringing together countries of the wider Black Sea region, including Armenia and Turkey, which do not have diplomatic representation otherwise. As our region, the South Caucasus, navigates the turmoil of geopolitics and geoeconomics, how do you see the role of the Black Sea Economic Cooperation in facilitating transit routes within the South Caucasus?
Thank you very much. And but before trying to answer to your justified and well-placed question, allow me a couple of remarks of a rather more general nature, but which on issues which, in my opinion, have a lot to do with the relevance of the Black Sea area and the South Caucasus. My second remark is that, but before that, also allow me to say that I'm particularly glad to be back in Yerevan at this second edition of the Yerevan Dialogue. I had the honor to be in the previous one as well. And I have to say that though this forum is a young one, looking at the level of participants, the panelists, speakers, and the topics chosen for the debate, it clearly shows that the Yerevan Dialogue has already won a top place among events of this kind. And for that, I would like to congratulate our hosts, the Armenian government, for organizing this dialogue. So the two general remarks which I wanted to make are the following. I think that you'll agree with me that in the last years, we've been witnessing a lot of debate about deglobalization, decoupling, de-risking, how to diminish dependencies, how to build resilience based upon less dependency. Well, in my opinion, this is something which goes counter to the real developments into global developments, because we wanted to know globalization will continue. And it's important to be aware of the fact that this globalization is taking place, is continuing under a new paradigm, especially the one generated by the digitalization revolution. But when talking about, so interdependencies will continue, and I would even say will grow. And this is why, in my opinion, I will repeat something which I have already said last year. Rather than speaking about how to build resilience individually, perhaps it's much more important to look into how to build resilient interdependencies. And that brings us to connectivity, which is the key for that. And you may agree with me that looking at the map of the world, this region, the Black Sea wider region and the Caucasus are key in the development of any serious connectivities which are taking into account the global trends in the economic world. And by the way, and this is the second remark of mine, when we look into the map of the world, we see where the engines of growth are. And that brings us to the awareness about the importance of enhanced connectivity between Europe and Asia. And again, you cannot imagine developing any alternative or any project or initiative related to connectivity without taking into account the Caucasus, the Black Sea, the wider Black Sea region, and the Caucasus as a whole. So these are the, now trying to come back to your question about what about the organization which I have the honor to represent is doing here. Well, this organization, which was set up 33 years ago, was set up exactly by the founding member states, 11 they were, now we are 13, in order, as a platform for cooperation, for identifying together ways and means to develop economy in this region, but also to connect with the other regions. And this is what the BSEC has been trying to do. I will not elaborate that much on that, simply to say that during the years, several initiatives aimed at strengthening the connectivity inside the region, but also beyond that, have been taken in the organization. Let me mention, for example, the famous Black Sea Ring Highway, or the motorways of the sea, and very importantly, in the very practical terms, which proves that how important it is to concentrate our activities on the project-oriented type of actions. We've been in the organization setting up the so-called BSEC permit system, which is aimed at facilitating the crossing of the border of trucks of goods. And during the COVID period and after that, this BSEC permit system greatly facilitated crossing the difficulties which within our region, like others, have been confronted with during this period. And I'm glad to say that there are prospects. Now, 9 of the members of the 13 member states of the EU, of the BSEC, are already. I will conclude by saying that in this particular project, Armenia has been very active, and I would like to take this opportunity to give my appreciation for that. Thank you very much.